What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and ranking our top centers right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Now, before I dive into the actual top centers in the game, I do want to talk about some things. Basically, all the centers will be included on this list. Like, some of them might have been included on the power forward list, but every single guy that I think that is a good center in this game is going to be included on here. Now, there might not be some of your favorite budget guys, and honestly, a big reason why is I don't think there's a lot of good budget centers in this game. There's not even one player on here outside of Gasol that is an amethyst or lower, and I just think a lot of that really comes down to the fact, like, Ruby Dikembe is horrible. I would never recommend anybody picking him up. Honestly, if you want a good budget center, I'd recommend getting Purvis Ellison. I know I talked about him quite a bit on the power forward list, but genuinely, I think he would be one of your best budget centers to pick up as well. Now let's dive into it. Wilt Chamberlain to start things off. The problem with Wilt is this. He's an inside center. And inside bigs are tough to use. You have to be really good and really know how to use inside bigs. Honestly, I'm not even the best at using inside bigs. Wilt has great speed, has great badges, defensively going to be an absolute beast. And honestly, mashing wise, he mashes offensively as good as anybody else. So I do like Wilt Chamberlain. I think B tier probably is the right spot for Wilt. It just comes down to the fact that we have seen better and better centers added in basically every single week into the game. So although I like Wilt, I think B tier is the right spot. I think there are, with the addition of some of the new, better centers we got, B tier is the right spot for big Wilt. Kevin Duckworth, he's going to be at F tier. I cannot think of a worse worse diamond card that we have in the game than Kevin Duckworth. The card absolutely stinks. I would never, ever, ever recommend anybody picking up Kevin Duckworth either. And I think that comes down to what it is. He's F tier. Card's a diamond. He's still going to be expensive. The worst thing is if you get him on your breakout board, right? If you play all the games to get a free diamond and Kevin Duckworth pops up, that's the big problem, that why Kevin Duckworth is even in the game. Because let's say you get a full throttle deluxe, guess who's coming out of there? It's probably going to be Kevin Duckworth. Although you don't want it to be, probably will indeed be him. So that's kind of the problem with Kevin Duckworth and why I am putting him on this tier list, because some people probably honestly do have Kevin Duckworth. They probably got the full throttle deluxe pack and Kevin Duckworth came out of there. The card absolutely stinks on this game. Easy addition into F tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Next up, guys, Tim Duncan, domination reward. Is he C tier? I think he is. Because here's the thing. His three ball isn't high enough to consistently shoot with him. I mean, in Unlimited and Showdown, you can green with Tim Duncan. It's just not going to be super consistent. I overall got Tim Duncan. I grinded out for the card. He's fine. Definitely a card that you can pick up, you can run. I just don't think, I want to sit up here and talk him up that highly. I don't recommend, if you haven't started Domination, to go get Tim Duncan. However, if you do have Tim Duncan, let's say you did grind it out for Tim Duncan, he is a solid enough big man in the game. Do like him more at center than power forward, because the card can't really shoot. C tier for Tim Duncan. Sengun up next. I'm going to throw him at C tier as well. Problem with Sengun is this: defensively, he's not going to be great. Although offensively, he is going to be a stretch big in the game. I just wish defensively he gave me a little bit more, because then I might, recommend playing the card to you guys. But defensively, the card's just absolutely, basically worthless. I mean, not Tim Duncan, Sengun basically is worthless defensively. That's why I might have to go D tier with the card. Kareem, I'm going to go S tier. Is he the best center in the game? I mean, we could talk about it here in a little bit. Problem with Kareem is 62 three ball. It's not low enough where it's impossible to green with the card. However, it's not high enough that I'm going to, sit here and act like he's going to be just a sharpshooter in this game. His three ball definitely leaves something to be desired, although the rest of the card is nearly perfect. One thing I do want to say is Jokic on this list probably would be another Sengun, basically D tier. The card stinks. Thing with Kareem is this: he is 7'2". He at least has the ability to knock down corner threes really pretty consistently. You shouldn't miss with Kareem. I do think he is S tier. Jeff Ruland, I'm going to go C tier. The more I use Jeff Ruland, the more I just feel like the card doesn't play as good as he should. Part of the reason I don't love Jeff Ruland is I miss more shots than I should with the card. I don't know what it is. There was one week in King of the Court where he was the reason I lost. I literally could not green with the card. My opponent was leaving him open every single possession, and he shot me out of the game. I still don't hate Jeff Ruland. I still like his potential, but I think C tier is the right spot for him. Gasol, if we're talking about the best centers in the game, I'm going to go F tier. I just don't see it with Pau Gasol. I don't want you guys to sit up here and say he's worthless because I don't necessarily know that that's true. I just don't think he's one of the best centers on this list. I'm going to go F tier. Ronnie Seikaly, I'm going to go B tier. Surprise, surprise for Ronnie Seikaly. I like this card. I think he's one of the more complete centers in the game. I just don't like Ronnie Seikaly's release, and I want you guys to know exactly what that means. He has a 73 ball, and he has a slow release. So can you green consistently with Ronnie Seikaly? Possibly, but just know that release is going to leave a lot to be desired. But I like him. His speed is good. He's going to compete on the interior. He's going to knock down the occasional 3-ball. To me, he is one of the most complete centers that we do have in the game. It just comes down to I don't think you guys are going to consistently green with the card, which leads me to putting him in B tier. Dwight Howard, I also think is B tier. I don't though. I'm going to go C tier. I don't mind Dwight Howard, but the problem is this. He's an inside center that I don't think is as good as Wilt Chamberlain. And that's what it comes down to for me. I don't really like inside bigs. And if I were to run an inside big right now, it would be Wilt Chamberlain, not Dwight Howard. I'm not hating on D12 because if you know what you're doing with the card, he definitely is playable. But for me, he's not as good as Wilt Chamberlain. So I think C tier is the right spot. Wish he had more total badges as well. Chet Holmgren, I'm going to go A tier. I don't know if I don't know, again, another one of these things, I don't know if I love it for Chet, but when I think about the best stretch bigs in the game, you at least gotta mention Chet's name. Whether you think he is the best or not, he's up for that debate because of the fact he is gonna knock down consistent shots. You should never miss with Chet. He's 7'1" as well, gonna get you paint stops. The one thing about him is his strength is super low, so if you come up against like Wilt and you're running Chet, be prepared to probably get mashed because if your opponent knows how to mash, you are going to get mashed quite badly. But I still think when you're looking at stretch bigs, Chet is probably the best. Andre Drummond, throw him right in there with Dwight Howard, C tier. I think both cards are fine. I just don't love inside bigs. And if you're asking me if I like them or Ronnie Seikaly more, it's Ronnie Seikaly. I don't even think it's close, or Seikaly. Apologize for getting his name wrong. I know people are going to flame me down below in the comments, so I apologize. But that's where I'm at with the cards. Again, I don't dislike either of them. I don't hate either of them. But when I'm comparing one to the other, that's just kind of where I'm at with the two. I do believe, Ronnie Seikaly's ability to shoot, Seikaly's ability to shoot the ball definitely is important. Pink Diamond Shaq. I'm going to throw him right there with Wilt. B tier. I just don't love inside bigs. And does Shaq give you that much more than Wilt? I personally don't think so. I'm going to throw Shaq at B tier and not think twice about it. Yes, the same tier as Ronnie Seikaly. I don't care. There's nothing that Shaq does to me that warrants him being super high. Again, inside bigs, they're tough to use. It takes a lot of skill to run an inside big no matter what anybody tells you. And for me, and for my money, give me Shaq at B tier. Next up, DeAndre Jordan, C tier. Another one of those inside bigs, and instead of being on the Shaq or Wilt level, he is on the Dwight Howard level. It's just that simple, that easy to understand. Not horrible. DeAndre Jordan is C tier though. Artist Gilmore, this is a tough card to rank. He's 7'2". His 3-ball is not that low, although you're not going to consistently green with him, but he's not super fast. I'm going to go B tier with Artist. But I don't love Artist. I need you guys to understand Artist compared to Ronnie Seikaly. I don't even know who I prefer. And so that's the one thing about Artist Gilmore is this. So far, throughout this game, I mean, Jokic stinks too. But so far, the pink diamonds in this game have been pretty good. I mean, you look at the pink diamonds that we have in this game, more often than not, they're going to be pretty good cards. The thing with Artist is he's not that good. And I'm not hating on him. I don't think he's totally worthless. But I just don't think the card is that good, in my opinion. So I'm going to go B tier for Artist. Again, I don't necessarily think he's worthless, but I don't think he's worth the coins he's going for. Willis Reed. When you talk about the best stretches in the game, Willis Reed's up there. I think he's B tier, but if you want to argue S tier for Willis Reed, I'm not going to argue against it. One thing about Kareem is this, he's going to compete on the interior better than Willis Reed, but from top to bottom, Willis Reed is just as complete as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I like Willis Reed. I'm personally going to go A tier, although if you want to put him at S tier, I'm not going to argue against it. I'm just not, because I do like Willis Reed. I like his ability to stretch the court. I do think he is an A tier center. David Robinson, S tier. And honestly, David Robinson should be the only player in S tier. I'm going to put Kareem up here because he is 7'2". Defensively, still going to be really good. But the difference between D-Rob and Kareem is quite large. Because Kareem, you're not going to consistently hit the pop with. With David Robinson, he's a card, not only should you green with him, you should never miss with David Robinson. Notice the difference. Kareem, you're somewhat going to green, maybe sometimes. D-Rob is going to be chicken man. You're never going to miss with the card. The card is absolutely elite S tier for David Robinson. Sabonis stinks. Honestly, I'll put him in D tier just because I feel bad for him, but the card stinks. I don't even know what positives I could say about it. The only thing I don't like about this list is I feel like David Robinson should be the only card at S tier. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put David Robinson at the only card at S tier. I like Kareem a lot, but I do think, you know, the difference between Kareem and a guy like D-Rob is just as big as Kareem and, you know, a Wilt Chamberlain. I genuinely believe that. And so that's why I'm putting him at A tier. You guys don't necessarily have to agree with me. And honestly, most of you guys probably won't agree with me. But that's okay because I like D-Rob that much more than Kareem. And I'm comfortable with putting D-Rob as the only player at S tier. I'm comfortable with it. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Again, right now, you guys can let me know if you disagree. I just personally feel like there's not very many great centers in the game. I feel like there's not. And I feel like more importantly than that, when you talk about budget centers, there's not that many budget centers either. I mean, you guys can let me know any budget centers down below in the comments. Cat didn't make this list. I don't know why I didn't put Cat on this list. Cat would probably be in B tier. I don't think he's as good as Willis Reed, Chet, but I do think he's as good as Ronnie, Seikaly, if not better. So Cat would probably be at A tier. Again, he was on the power forward list. I don't necessarily love him at the power forward list, but he probably would be A tier. Just want to talk about him. Jokic probably would be D tier. Honestly, Jokic would probably be C tier. I don't like Jokic, but realistically, he probably is a C tier caliber option. So that's where I'm at with these cards. Again, if I missed out on anybody, let me know down below in the comments. Purvis Ellison probably would be C tier as well. And that's where I'm just like sitting here in front of you guys like, just pick up Sapphire Purvis, try to find one remotely badged, and rock out with him. I like him more at power forward, but at this stage of the game, we don't have the options to just pick and choose. We have limited budget options, so we've got to be able to make those type of cards work. Let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. Who is I too high on? Who is I too low on? Who did I leave off the list that you guys would have included? Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.